Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Crush Lusher Television. Alright, so we're going to do the corrections on our quiz. So this first video is just going to be on this first page right here. So, number one, use the graph at left to determine the limit as x approaches -4 of f of x. So limit as x approaches -4 from the left and the right is getting really close to -1. So the answer on the y would be -1. So check to make sure you have the correct answers. Here you go. So limit as x approaches -4 from both sides of f of x. The answer is -1. Put a check if you got it. If not, put an x. So next, you're going to find the limit as x approaches 6 of f of x. All right, back to it. Here you go. Limit as x approaches 6. So from the left, you're approaching -1, and from the right, you're approaching -2. So that does not exist. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So that's one does not exist. Right there. Boom. So put a check if you got it. If not, put an X. All right, next. The limit is number 3. The limit as x approaches 3 of this. So this is just a parabola. It looks like this. So there's no jumps or discontinuities in it. So I'm just going to plug in and find the y value. If x is 3, so 3 squared is 9. 3 times 9 minus 4, which is 27 minus 4, which is 23. Got it. Put a check if you got it. Next. So it gives you a of x and b of x right there. So find the limit as x approaches 3 of 2b of x minus 7a of x. Well, the only thing we know with a of x, this function, is the limit as x approaches 2. And same with b of x, we know the limit as x approaches 2. We have no idea what happens when x approaches 3. We have no idea what the rest of this looks like. And so this right here does not exist. Cannot do, not enough information. So actually does not exist is probably not good. Cannot do is actually a better answer. So that is the answer for number 4. You can't do it because you don't have the correct information in order to do it. All right, so the rest of the page, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what we're going to do next. So looking at it right here, boom. So you have this piecewise function, g of x. So sine of x when x is less than or equal to 0, the parabola between 0 and 2, and then the line when x is greater than 2. So we're going to find the limit as x approaches 0 of g of x, and then find out when it's continuous. So I'm going to do 5 and 8 at the same time. Okay? Then I'm going to do 6 and 7 at the same time because that has to do with x equals 2. Okay? So if you just prove it the same way, we're going to figure out. So x approaches 0. We're going to do that first. So first we're going to do a little charty chart. So it breaks at 0 and 2. So the limit as x approaches 0 from the left, so you're on sine of x right there. And then the limit as x approaches 0 from the right, you're going to be on this part, this parabola. And then anything greater than 2 here is this line. So first we're going to focus on 0. So the limit as x approaches 0 of g of x, sorry, not f of x, g of x, my bad. So we had to find the limit as x approaches 0 from the left of g of x. So from the left, you're on the parabola. So that's going to be sine of 0. Sine of 0, what is that? So this is 0. That point is 1, 0. Sine is the y value, so that's going to be 0. Cool. So the limit as x approaches 0 from the right of g of x is going to be on here, on this part right here, because I'm getting really close to 0, which means I'm on this parabola right here. So that's going to be 5 times 0 squared plus 1, which is 0 times 5 is 0 plus 1, which is 1. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. What do we know? So 0 and 1. So it was, as I approach 0 from the left, I'm approaching 0 on the y. I'm approaching 0 from the right, I'm approaching 1 on the y. So the limit as x approaches 0 of g of x from both sides does not exist. Boom. And so with number 8, this is number 5, number 8, since the limit doesn't exist, that means that there is a jump in the graph. So no g of x is not continuous at x equals 0 because the limit as x approaches 0 from the left of g of x does not equal the limit as x approaches 0 from the right of g of x. Bam. So this is number 5, this is number 8, because you don't have to do any other proof because you already know that there's a jump in the graph and you have to pick up your pencil in order to do it. All right. Now, next. So now we're going to do 6 and 7 at the same time. So now we got to figure out the limit as x approaches 2 and whether it's continuous. All right, fine. So the limit as x approaches 2 of g of x. So the first thing I have to do is figure out what happens from 2 to the left. So to the left, you're on this part right here, which you're on your parabola. So 2 from the left, you're approaching really close to that. So that's going to be 5 times 2 squared plus 1. So 2 squared is 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1, which is 21. And the limit as x approaches 2 from the right of g of x is here, because you're going to the right and you're getting really close to 2, so you're on this line. So that's going to be 9 times 2 plus 3, which is 18 plus 3, which is also, ding, 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 21. Cool. So the conclusion is the limit as x approaches 2 from both directions. What are you approaching from both directions? Yeah. Of g of x is 21. Bam. So that's number 6 right there. 21. So number 7, is it continuous? Well, it might have a little hole in it. We don't really know. So if you look at the picture, something like this, well, at -4 in this picture, you have the limit is -1, but the point is actually somewhere else. So you got to actually put the point in. So let's see whether the point is on 21. So 7, where does the domain equal to? Right here. So that means I'm plugging in here. So f of 2 is 5 times 2 squared plus 1, which is also 21. Got it. So the point is 21 and the limit is 21. You good. So concluding statement, I'm going to write it up here because I need more room. This is number 7. Yes, g of x is continuous at x equals 2 because the limit as x approaches 2 of g of x equals g of 2. Boop! Got it. Sorry. And down here, I messed up. This should be g of 2. My bad. Okay, so what do you need to do? So this is what you need to do for correction. So anything you got wrong, this is what I want it to look like. So here's from the geometry quiz. So it's the same thing. So I want you to create a chart in your notes. What question it was, and then the correct answer and work and explanation next to it. So the correct answer, something like this, all the work we just did, and then something that explains what you did wrong. So I forgot that this, using the vocabulary, I forgot that I needed to prove this, or I forgot the limit as x approaches this, etc., etc. So it needs all these parts for full credit. This is a separate grade. Nice job, everybody. Take care. Good work. Part 2, backside of the quiz, page 2 is coming next.